Welcome back, Hive Mind. It's your boy Sparky here with Victor doing another commentary on round 5. How are we doing today, Victor?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Today we got Ruby Storm against Cabal Coffers, so this should be a fun little matchup we got going on here.
Certainly two decks that are a little off the beaten path. I mean, I know Ruby Storm had a little bit of a splash, took a little bit of a break from the limelight, but interesting to see it back at the top table for us here.
Definitely old school blue-red mage Tim Cicino running the Ruby Storm, playing one of his favorite archetypes. Then we got one of our dear competitors at the store, Ash, playing one of his favorite archetypes, Mono Black Cabal Coffers. It definitely seems like two kind of diametrically opposed decks, almost ships passing in the night kind of a thing going on. So it definitely should be interesting. We have some amount of discard coming from the Cabal Coffers, and then we also have the speed coming out of Ruby Storm. What side are you taking on this one, partner?
I mean, Ruby Storm, if it's uninterrupted, it's fast. I mean, it is fast. I've seen, these turn 2, these turn 3s, especially when you have that turn 1 strike it rich to just go off the next turn is crazy to me. So I think that while Ash probably does have some number of thought seizes and maybe some griefs depending on what he's trying to do, might be too slow.
Say his name and he appears. Turn 1 Thoughtseize.
All right, so that was step 1. Tim with a little bit of a
It's a rough hand.
heavy hand.
So Past in Flames, Ren's Resolve, and then I believe that card is Glimpse the Impossible. Yes.
Yep.
Tim, infamous for having Japanese foils in his deck. But yeah, I think the Glimpse is the bigger card out of the ones. Oh, he takes the Ren's Resolve. Okay. I guess without a reducer, it's probably the right call here.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking about just trying to keep Tim slow, because, I mean, the Ren's Resolve is 2 mana, and I believe you get those cards until the end of your next turn. So it is kind of, a good setup card for if you're not going off. Can't Thoughtseize cards out of exile.
Hits another Thoughtseize. Ooh.
Can hit another Thoughtseize.
Gotta hit the Glimpse here. Yeah, I think we're definitely leaning towards Ash closing this game out. Although, looking at his hand, it's two Damnations, a Sorin, and then a Cabal Coffers. So we'll have to see how far that gets Ash against a deck that doesn't have very many creatures in it. So
yeah, that's not really doing a whole lot there. I mean, the Damnations might as well just be cards that say nothing and just be a white slate there. So
pretty much a blank piece of cardboard in this matchup.
Yeah. So that's not good. So if you really think about it, he has 2 relevant cards in his hand. So it's tough. I mean, I know he just Thoughtseize Tim for most of his stuff, but I mean, Storm doesn't need much to collect some resources to start just next turn.
No, and it looks like Tim had a good top deck here. I see a Ral, Leyline Prodigy, Monsoon Mage. That's it.
Monsoon Mage.
I see a Ral off the top. I would be surprised if he just runs it out there, especially against like the mono black removal deck. Probably just going to hold on to it until the turn he wants to go off. Never mind. I've been wrong, and I'll continue to be wrong.
He did not hear you talking from the future, so
no, sir.
We'll see what happens here.
Well, these are our flip planeswalkers from MH3 going head-to-head here.
Yeah, I think unfortunately that in this matchup, while Sorin, amazing card and can really do some interesting, unique things, I think Ral is certainly better in the deck that it's in.
Yeah, I mean, what's the best card Ash can draw here? Is it like a March of Wretched Sorrow?
A March wouldn't be bad, just to get rid of those Damnations, just to get some life. It just makes it that much harder for Tim. Though once the deck is usually going off, I don't know if the life total really matters. I could be wrong.
So I spot a Karn in Ash's hand. That can go and get something along the lines of like a Tormod's Crypt, just to get rid of the graveyard for that Past in Flames he knows is in hand. Ooh, double trouble, 2 Karns, 2 Damnations, stuck on 3 mana. I think we're just blocking. What's
Maybe
Ralph's power
Tim.
toughness? Oh yeah, okay. Tim could snuff a little, maybe a little something out. Probably going to see a Surveil Land here from Tim. Knock the top of the deck, see if we got some bangers. If Tim's able to like put together to like 2 Ren's Resolves or any of the 2 now 1 mana thanks to the Ral, look at 2 spells cards, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, especially with there not being any pressure from Ash, and I think Tim knows that there's not a lot going on. Your opponent hasn't played multiple land drops and hasn't dealt with anything or added to anything. I think he kind of knows that there's a little bit of a chance for to take the game back into his favor.
He left the card
And
on top. I think it was a ritual, and he's going and digging. Yep, there's the storm count. That's the mana.
I will say I thought Nadu was confusing to keep track of, but actually the storm
Yeah, I'll be
definitely takes
honest.
the gig.
Having watched this a few times and played against him last week, there is a lot of things to keep track of. Because the Ral trigger resolves before your spell resolves. So he rolls odds, so you can choose to flip it or not. This does give him a bunch of mana. That 3 mana can be used to cast the Past of Flames in his hand, and then he can just go off with the 3 cards in his graveyard.
I think the only problem is that I think Tim is. Well, I mean, I know the deck kind of lives off the fact you have to kind of see what you get off the exile effect cards. There isn't usually just a.
The two over by our Hive Mind symbol is the number of instants and sorceries played, which is a counter you have to keep track of for the Ral to see when it flips. The magic number is normally 6. So that way he comes in with 8 counters, you subtract 8, you ultimate the Ral, and then you play the top 8 cards from your deck. So there's not a lot of misses here.
No, I think at this point, I mean, the only other thing that would make it any better is just another mana reduction via Ruby Medallion. But
yeah, if he sees he's gotta win the flips.
Well, you got what 15 flips that you'd have to lose, or
16, I think that's 3 flips he just won. So he has the mana. I think we would glimpse first. Use the bigger mana one first, because you can see more cards off of it. Four instant sorceries played, 4 storm for the turn. Takes the damage.
Now, Glimpse, I believe, is the one that it's 3 cards, and then you may play them this turn, right? I think, yeah.
Yeah, the other ones are until next turn. This one's until this turn. And the fun part about this one is if you don't cast them, they go to your graveyard.
Yeah, and then I believe, what is it for each one that isn't, you get an 0-1 Eldrazi spawn?
Oh.
Well, he's at least going to get 2 Eldrazi spawn.
Yes. The good part is he can use the mana and start trying to go for this whole... If he's able to... So he won that flip. He has 1, 2, 3 more spells that he can try and cast here. He needs to hit spells off of this, and if he wins the flip here, I think the game's over. Okay.
Well,
gotta hit a spell. Yeah, no, of course. Ooh, okay, yeah. I think he's flipping this Ral this turn. 7. I think we need to buy dice that go above 6.
Yeah, apparently.
That's the one we were looking for. Okay.
Here we go.
Now, for the players at home, you can respond to this trigger, but not after they roll the dice. Once they roll the dice, the ability is resolved. Although, um, let's say you had a whole bunch of energy, you could kill that in response. Like if you had something like discharge or like,
Fatal push.
well,
Soul spike.
fatal push doesn't hit the planeswalker. Once the planeswalker
Oh
flips,
yeah,
the
yeah.
spell's still on the stack, so he can't minus right away. So if you had a spell like Leyline Binding, something like that,
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad, but unfortunately in Nash's current
3.
predicament, he'd have to kill it as a creature.
I
I guess he
think
could
there's,
march it, but
yeah. So he got 4 spells out off of it, which is nice. We're gonna Manamorphose and make some mana. 2 mana. I think he's gonna make a green here. The
of
green
note
and
though, the spells cost full Monty at this point.
the spells, but not the ones that he exiled with the Ral. Those he can cast for free at the moment, and he has
Yeah.
another Ral in his hand.
Oh, does he? Oh, it doesn't matter
Yes.
then.
Oh well, we got the wish. That's a good one, and I can't make out that other card. I'm assuming it's a Ren's Resolve or a what's the other one? Reckless Impulse.
Reckless Impulse, yeah.
Yeah,
Those look like Ren's Resolves though.
yeah. We've reached the point where he has a free Past in Flames he can cast. At this point, I would play the other Ral so I can. Because if you play the other Ral, you can start doing. And the reason you keep keeping track is because if there's a point where you have to play another Ral, like he can do.
Start all over again.
Yes.
I do agree though. I think I would put the reduction in place, but
I think he just played something for a reduction and he doesn't have the reduction. Because I think he just said he played one of those spells for 1. It could matter, but we'll see what
it could
happens.
matter, but it is probably some arbitrarily high number that just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I think at this point, I think we're at the point where we should be casting the wish to find the grape shot. Yeah, I think we just wish for grape shot there, play the grape shot, hit him for 12, play the free Blast and Flames, and then for the other 2 mana, cast the grape shot again, and then you
Yeah,
get in for
I guess it's kind
24.
of like this the same result. I guess
Yeah,
it does let you get more spells into exile for next turn if something were to catastrophically go wrong. Though
that's
I
fair.
doubt
I,
that
I
there's
I don't think Ash had any like real plays to make because of the way his hand was set up. I think the deck is more set up for the aggro matchups, as you see them taking
yeah. I mean, Coffers
the
historically
damnations out. Yeah,
is I want to verse all the creature decks and the mid range S decks, and I want to beat them up and bully them. And then unfortunately, when there's a decent amount of combo, it sometimes is hard for the decks to kind of interact. Now, luckily, as Karn, which can help a little bit, and as you can see, he's bringing in Dalthy Voidwalkers um, to snipe the graveyard.
yeah. I think them bringing in the Dothies is smart. You saw them cut, I believe, a Damnation and a Bowman. Like Bowman's not really going to do much in this matchup because Tim's not drawing cards. Although I do feel like looking at Tim's sideboard, he's going to bring in these Veils of Summer, which is important.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Veil's a strong card, especially when you're just trying to protect that hand. A 1 mana
mhm.
investment to stop some Thoughtseize shenanigans is never bad. I do love me some Veil of Summer. 1 mana Cryptic Command is pretty good.
Looks like he's taking out 5 cards. It's the 4 Veil of Summer, and I think the Blood Moons are coming in. which I think is pretty fair. Turn two, Ritual into Blood Moon against this the deck that Ash has can be kind of backbreaking. So I agree with it there, and you just trim on some of your numbers.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right? So shutting off the Urborg and Cabal Coffers obviously pretty strong there. Lets you really kind of slow the deck down.
Yeah,
Not that I
100%.
think that I mean the deck is Ruby Storm is just so fast. I mean, I don't even know if Ash has enough time to set all that up. So maybe I'm not bringing in the Blood Moon personally, but I mean there could just not be enough cards for him to really care. You have a
Yeah,
bunch of wish targets anyway.
and to be honest, if Ash is able to play like turn two Douthie, I think Tim is in a little bit of a pickle because like Tim needed his graveyard there in order to win that game. And I think without his graveyard, it makes it a little bit harder.
No, definitely. And here we go. We're gonna start off with that. Hey, there you
Say
go.
say his name. He appears. We got the Thoughtseize. Tim a little bit better of a hand this time. Oh, it looks like he brought in a braids. The two cards I thought were blood moons are actually a braid.
Oh, that okay.
That
So
makes sense to hit like Soulless Jailers or whatever card Ash could be playing to be stopping, which also hits the Doughty Voidwalker.
it's a Dolphy. Works out.
I can't tell if Ash has a Doughty in hand, but if they do, I would like them to select the Abrade here.
Guess not.
Westing Druid also is a very fun card for these for the Storm decks because it gives you not only a threat but also another um, like 2 to 1 mana. Look at two cards, put them in exile, possibly play them. The timing's not the same as the sorcery speed ones, but still pretty good. Him baiting Ash with the Field of Ruin play.
There's nothing. That's an Urborg, right? There is nothing to bait there.
That's correct.
If it was the name of the car, the Sunken Citadel, I believe that would work.
I think what Tim's trying to do is like get Ash to on Ash's next turn activate the Field of Ruin, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just trying to plant the seed, just to
Left a
have
ritual
your
on top.
opponent.
And then for the people watching at home, if they look at Tim's hand, some of his cards are upside down. Those are the cards his opponent knows about. Um, Sometimes people will leave their cards face up. Sometimes people will just do this, um, where you know what your opponent knows or has written down is definitely important. Or the next end step.
No, I believe that one actually says until your next end step.
That's right. So if you play it on your turn, you have to play those cards that turn. Got it.
Yeah. Which, listen, not bad. 2 mana instant speed.
No, I think I really like this card a lot. I'm surprised I didn't see more play in the standard format that it's in, and I know it saw some play in prowess to an extent, which I really liked. I think Tim has a Manamorphose, so we can at least try and grow the Druid this turn, possibly.
I think the only has he played a land? No, he hasn't played a land yet.
No land yet.
It's just semi awkward because he doesn't have the green source, so he has to almost use the Manamorphose to make the green first if he wanted to make it bigger.
The good part is he can make 2 green. Ooh, okay. He doesn't have the green mana to play the Veil of Summer yet. So if Ash pulls a trigger on this Bowman, he's going to make his guy big. They do remember the Abrade in the hand. That's important. I think you got to snap off some amount of aggression here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think about it because I'm trying to think of how what the rest of the hand was, but I think you do have to do it. I mean, you're gonna make Tim use the mana, but for some reason Ash decides against it.
That's. I mean, it's a fair assumption. I don't begrudge them for it. I believe that's a consuming corruption and a couple lands. The only problem is that hand doesn't line up well with like a medallion. If Tim was able to draw that card,
Doesn't help that there's a veil, so it kind of just puts a decent amount of pressure. Where I think that
and he does
if
have
we're
the
worried
row.
about, yeah,
Ooh, he's gonna use the green.
interesting. Oh, he's gonna just go with the druid.
Yep. And would you look at that? No green mana.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised that Tim decided to play the questing druid at that point.
Um,
I
I
don't
think it
know.
was.
Open mana,
I
Veil of
think
Summer.
so. I think he
All
was just
right.
worried a little bit about what Ash could have had, and like you kind of have a decent amount rolled up if you think about it. Like you have a glimpse, you have another Seek the Beast on the next turn. You have a hand relatively full of cards. You have an Abrade. It looks like a Wish, a Row, and maybe another Pyretic Ritual. Ooh, here we go. What can we make?
And
Five mana for the turn.
yeah, I mean, again, because of how Ruby Storm operates, it's like it's not even that impressive, even at this point.
I think that was a stomping ground that was drawn.
I believe you're right. I recognize the set symbol or the
The
clan.
Gruul
Yeah,
symbol at the bottom. Yeah,
yeah, very
cool.
very
The cool part about
fun.
foils.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Sometimes really cool to see that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The adventure's only from hand, right? So the questing druid in exile is pretty much just a blank.
I do believe that you, as when you're casting the spell, you get to choose how to do it. I don't think adventure is only from hand. I will do a little Scryfall checking, but I do believe. When casting spells in adventure, use the alternative characteristics and ignore all other cards. If this spell is cast in adventure, the controller exiles it. It's not casting as an alternate cost. I do believe. I do believe you don't have to adventure from your hand. I think that's just
That's pretty. Maybe.
it's like
Yeah.
it's just a different version of the card. Like it would be like a fire ice. You can cast one or the other.
Yeah, I was just, you know what? I think I was just thinking of the interaction because of the fact that the the adventure cards are like the adventure parts of the spells are not are only acknowledged on the stack. So I
Yeah.
think I was just confusing the interaction.
Tim has a stacked library or stacked graveyard right now. Um, if Ash is able to Karn into a Tormod script, they're probably going to lock this game up.
Yeah, that would be nice. I don't think Ash had one in hand, unfortunately, but You don't know what the top of the deck brings.
This is true. That's a Douthie, but I think the Douthie's a little late here.
Yeah, few turns ago that would have been a lot better.
That does mean that no new cards are going to be going to Tim's graveyard.
Except Tim still has the Abrade, so I mean,
I mean that's true. He's going to have to spend the mana on the Abrade to get rid of the Douthie. Another ritual off the top. It looks like ritual, wish, Ral, and then the Abrade that Ash knows about. I think we're going to have a couple second tank session from Tim. Let's see if he can do it this turn, which the math looks like it's mathing for me. And then we just pay a red.
1 mana red destroy your hate piece. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yes. This is Tim explaining what I had said earlier. If they flip in their favor, the card he can flip the card immediately.
Yeah, yeah, very helpful to dodge
Yeah.
any potential removal or shenanigans. I think for Christmas, if anything, I would get Tim a how to read Japanese book, so that way his life gets a lot easier.
Or we could just get like the translator on the phones.
Listen, I don't trust that AI business. I don't want it live translating for me and telling me what words I need to know.
We need 12 bad flips in a row.
Should have taken a prop bet on what that first result was going to be. Happy
I
football
didn't want to
season,
make the bet
everybody.
because either one of us could have seen this video before the other, but
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
yeah. Not that I did see it, but hey man,
The house
50-50 chance. ABC, always be casino.
always be casino,
We are
everybody. Happy
not promoting
casino.
gambling on the channel, by the way.
Unless by gambling you mean donating to us, then we do promote that.
I think this is the point where I would have pulled the trigger. Another missed flip. We
Yeah,
got some
I haven't seen
mana.
Ash's hand, so I'm not exactly sure what the card is that we're
Consuming
keeping loaded
Corruption,
up here.
it's black. It
Oh,
does damage equal to the number of swamps to a planeswalker
yeah,
or creature, I believe.
it's corrupt, but you can only target
Yeah.
which I would have absolutely just got that off now. So I'm not exactly sure what Ash is waiting on.
So this is a good time to respond. Tim does have.
Oh boy, let's see what happens.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Oof. Oh yeah, and you exile the Ral, so it's a totally different permanent. Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh
So
boy.
the wish resolves. Yeah, because the way the planeswalkers work, they have to exile and come in with counters in order to get loyalty counters.
Did the original Flipwalkers exile, or did they just transform?
No, they exiled.
They did.
They could-
Okay.
yeah.
Huh. So yeah, I mean, definitely interesting spot for a storm deck. 1 mana. I'm sorry, 2 mana. No reduction.
He can plus the route for the reduction until the end of turn.
Oh,
Um,
that's true. So then I guess just whatever cyborg card he has left here that gives him the most value.
so there's a
Yes.
card that he has that he pulled to the front, which is called Galvanic Relay, which works on the storm count.
Oh
So
yes. Yeah.
so this is 2 in a red sorcery. Exile the top card of your library. During your next turn, you can play the card.
The only thing is that requires him to tap out, right? So
Yes.
I guess you're just I guess it's a huge. It's 7 cards you can't thought seize and you get till your next turn. Yeah, pretty
Well,
good.
you can only play the cards during your next turn.
Oh, during your next. Yeah, okay.
It does not say reveal. It does not say reveal the cards.
That's actually a good question though. How does that work? I don't know though because it doesn't say face down. I usually feel like when cards want you to not reveal face up, they usually
Uh,
specify.
Playing this card is the same time restrictions required to make payments as normal. So it can't be played. So it can only be played next turn. Play the exiled card. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about being face up, but they may have just tried to cut down on the wordiness of the card, which is fair. The good part, because it says play, you can hit your land drops. There's a ruby there. It looks like there's a glimpse, another resolve, and 2 Manamorphose. So there's 7 mana production.
See if Ash can. All right.
This is smart. Like you want to take Ral down so it doesn't do anything. The only big problem here is you're not going to take Ral down enough to a point where he's going to be able to get he being Tim is going to be able to get double reduction off the medallion plus the plus to Ral.
Yeah, I don't even know if I like attacking. Well, I don't know. It
Maybe
seems
you
like
attack
so.
Tim and drop him to 8. So if he has like some bad Ral flips, mm,
Yeah, unfortunately, just I mean, what
well,
Ash
here's
has
the problem
one
here
card
because
in.
he's drawing a card and he gets to ping Tim down because the Metamorphose does say draw on it. So
Yeah, but I mean, with 1 card in hand and 9 life, you don't need to play another Ral unless you needed to flip again. But with a graveyard like that, it seems like it seems like it's a little too far gone. Unfortunately, not being able to kill the Ral
that's
just
fair.
made it so much harder. And again, the cards are in exile. You cannot rip apart exile. So
No,
well, Rift Sweeper might have a different tune on it, but unfortunately, Mono Black does not have Rift Sweeper.
that's very true. I like the idea of just casting one of the medallions, play his land, use the one for the glimpse.
For the fans at home, I realize that Rift Sweeper is only 1 card, so sorry.
Yes, but you hit the money card, but it puts it in the graveyard, so. You think Tim needs some more reducers? I think Tim also
Apparently.
has a Past in Flames in hand, which is pretty big. Running out of room on the table. Goes to 8. And I believe that's another Abrade. No, he played 2 Abrades. It can't be an Abrade. It's a Ren's Resolve. We have looks at cards, which is important.
So I'm actually surprised that Tim's playing it, considering his life total.
So well, because I think he has to flip a Ral and ultimate it. Because he's at, if he plays a spell here, he's at 6. And it's the magic number.
Oh yeah, because that the effect of the already flipped Ral, to my knowledge, the way that it's worded is until your next turn. So you already get the effect from that. And flip it over.
Ooh. One, two, three,
Pretty
4,
good.
5, 6.
It's 6. There's an Orberg in play.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if Ash was floating more mana or not. It is an instant. Valakut Awakening, I believe, is an instant.
It is, but I think he was looking to see what it says as far as the wording, and it does draw you the cards. I think that's what he was more worried about.
Well, here's the thing. All he has to do is draw a single card.
Yeah, he could just do it for 0 just to hopefully flip.
Things we take on a picnic. Show me potato salad. Oh! To lose a coin flip. Oh.
You know, a good friend of mine once said that asked somebody what's the most you ever lost in a card game or a coin flip, whatever, same thing.
I love that you just botched that. Editor, keep that in.
Right.
But yes, the most Ash ever lost on a coin flip was the game. It looks like, and this is no qualms to Ash. Literally coin flip to win the game with an instant speed spell. Ironically, he can ping this Ral. It's at the exact number he needs to be at. They're literally the most perfect thing that can happen.
Yeah, but does that even matter? Because Tim's already got the mana reduction from a Ruby Medallion and the original Ral. So does it? I don't. And it's minus 8 to go off.
It comes down to what Tim has in hand. He needs the Past in Flames, and I don't think he has it. I think Ash just said that they never had a Ral flip in his favor.
Yeah, that is the. I will say on a personal note, I'm not a huge fan of the coin flipping stuff, just because it feels like to me like that it's a little bit more Hearthstone esque.
We got there.
Isn't always fun, but I think
so yeah, with the we've reached the end of our game here with a lucky flip. Kind of hate to see it, but that stems the break sometimes. But like always, everybody, we wish that you would like, subscribe, comment down below. But Sparky's saying goodbye. Say goodbye, Victor.
Goodbye, Victor.